Welcome back. It's a conversation seldom had, but it's important, and that's why we're zeroing in on it this morning on the program, navigating toxic workplaces. So what exactly can you do when you get up in the morning and you're really not excited about going to work because of the obvious? So you have one or two things to gain from this, and joining us on this particular segment is Folake Okunubi. She's a human resource consultant, talent management expert, and life coach. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You know, we joke around in the workplace that the HR people must be your friend, and you're extra friendly to them.
They must be.
For obvious reasons. But that's just by the wayside.
Okay.
Let's look at a difficult work environment and where the worker is not encouraged to go to work because of the obvious, particularly if they're giving in their best and they're not getting the required encouragement in terms of promotion. And promotion is even far in terms of acknowledgement that you're doing your best at this material time. What are the options open to this particular worker to seeking redress, or maybe not redress, to getting the right acknowledgement?
Okay, I think the first thing for the point of view of the employees, understand why. What's happening? You may be doing your best, but is your best what the company requires? Are you delivering results? Why is the environment hostile? What's happening? So the first thing is self-awareness and trying to understand why. Are your results in line with what the company wants? Are you doing what the company wants? Why is your boss not liking you? Does your boss not like everybody? Is it just you they don't like? The first question is why. When you know why, then you can give the right solution to the problem at hand. But if you don't know why, you're just shooting in the dark. You've got employees who say, my boss doesn't like me, but the employee isn't delivering results. The employee is, not doing what needs to be done, giving excuses and not results. So first of all, we need to understand why. Then when you know why, then you can address it. So assume why is because you're not delivering results or your skills set doesn't match what the company wants, then you need to adjust. So self-awareness is the first thing. Analysis and deep self-awareness, that's the first.
But you know, before you get to HR, there's a line manager and there's probably a superior boss in that hierarchy. And perhaps there's a brick wall, there's a barrier, there's a fence that you're unable to climb over to even get that feedback in the first place. So what options are open to this particular worker, especially if you skip protocol, and go higher? You just may be accused of insubordination.
Yeah, that's why you're in a work environment and you're not a solopreneur or a solo worker. There are people around you who you can take feedback from. There's what's your work plan. Your work plan will tell you what you need to do and what results you need. You've got peers. You see how the same boss interacts with peers. You need to know what your company is aiming for. And when you sync yourself or you align with yourself with what your company is trying to deliver, nothing can be done about you. So you've got to deliver results so that it's unambiguous. You need mentors around you, peers, mentors, seniors, other people. Sometimes you may need internal mediators. Okay, my boss, it's not working with my boss. There's someone else who is your boss's friend, or you've got a senior who is between you and your boss. There are typically other people around you that you can use to get data and information to understand what's going on, and then you can figure it out from there. But one of the pieces of advice I give people most is you need to be skilled at your work. You need to be so skilled that they can't do anything about you. You need to deliver results. Every boss, you probably have domestics or people who work with you. If you've got someone who takes initiative, is proactive, delivers results, you're going to like the person. I may not like your face, but I like the results you deliver. And as long as you make my work easier, you become indispensable to me. So
I'm thinking about, let's take it national. HR should not just be in company. So we hired President Bola Tinubu. It's going to be 2 years since we hired him. He's our employee. He's your employee, he's my employee. That's the way it works. So we hired him. And 2 years down the line, based on his policy, saying, oh, it's going to be tough for you for a moment, but trust me, it's going to get better in the future. So the employers are divided on these issues. Other employees that we've hired have made these promises and it didn't work out. Why should it be different? So how should these employers respond to this employee who constantly tells us, And I'm serious. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Because that's what elections are all about. It's going to be midterm in May.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I'm putting you in a political
space. So you just segued me into politics. Okay. So I'm an employer. I've got an employee who isn't delivering on results. What is the scorecard? What is the contract?
I'm not saying he's not delivering on results. I'm saying it's put us in a very difficult situation. Saying we should endure this pain. That there's glory in the future. And we're still looking for it.
So I'm going to leave your hypothetical situation, and I'm going to assume I have an organization. I have an employee who has told me, okay, I want to deliver $10 million, for example, or 10 million naira. And he says, to deliver the 10 million, we need to do some cost cutting, or we need to do something that is going to give us short-term pain, but long-term gains. Then I want to see your work plan. I want to see the building stones, the stepping stones to that, building blocks to that. And then at each milestone, I want to see that you're delivering the results. And then I also need to decide, where do I need to, draw the line to decide, can I go on? Does this employee have potential? What he's showing, what he's telling me, and the results he's delivering at each milestone, are they in sync or not? If they're not in sync, as an employer, then I need to decide what I need to do or what I want to do.
I think what I wanted to get out of it is to remind Nigerians that he's our employer. He's our employee.
And you're the employers.
You're the employers.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if you've seen some videos recently about Gen Zs.
Okay.
You know where I'm going to now, but let me just give you a good background. So Gen Zs did a video and said, we're not like millennials. You see, you millennials took everything, took your change, just acted like it was fine. But we, this Gen Zs, no, we're going to give you a good run for your money, talking about employers, right? And it looks like Gen Zs are challenging the status quo in workplaces. All of a sudden, mental health is such a big deal. All of a sudden, bosses are careful before they say, you're foolish. Something they could say to Gen Z, oh, that's very stupid. How do you, I mean, that's toxic, that's extreme. But they look like millennials took it. But Gen Zs are saying no. They would walk up to the boss and say, you can't call me that, sir. In fact, I resigned today because my mental health
is at stake and is being threatened.
Or they say, I need to take a week off just to detox and ensure that I deliver. And it looks like they get it. So how are you handling first Gen Zs to get a good balance? Get them to be productive, at the same time protect them. Get them respected, at the same time they also should respect the system. So is this a tough period for you as a talent manager?
Okay, I think first thing is every generation says the next generation is problematic. So the baby boomers said that about the next generation, and they said that about the millennials. So every generation says the next generation is spoiled, rotten, this and the other. So let's first establish that. The Gen Zs are not unique, or the discussion about the next generation is not unique. The characteristics or traits may be different, but each generation says the next generation. I'm sure if you listen to your father, I said, you these children of nowadays, in our own days, we walk 10 miles to school and all that.
Call you today.
So every generation, so let's first not give a dog a bad name. It's not about Gen Z. Every generation says the next one. But then, we need to, what does this generation want? They want to change the status quo. Okay, we hear you. So first thing is, we hear you. What do you want? We hear this is what you want. Then next, okay, if you want this, responsibilities and privileges go hand in hand. Here's what you need to deliver. A lot of what they're saying is, don't police us on the how, measure us on the what, on the results. Okay, let's have a contract. What are the results you need to deliver? Here it is in black and white. And then deliver it. Okay, we want to walk from the moon today. Fine. A lot of walking from the moon gets us results. So the employers as well also need to be flexible. I mean, in the past, manual gears was what we use. Now we're using automatic. And goodness knows what cars will be.
Self-driving now.
There you go. They're self-driving now. So everybody needs to come to the party to give and take. The privileges the Gen Zs want, fine, but here are the responsibilities that come with it. They're more agile, they learn first, they deliver results, they have their strengths. Let's not overlook their strengths because we're focusing or we're hyperventilating on their weaknesses.
So is 9 to 5 split in part of me, Bukola, is a 5-day work week still, is it still feasible? Because it looks like we're just doing it because that's what we've always done. But are we empirical about it? Is it delivering? Should we still do 9 to 5? Must we still work 5 days a week? Can't we find ways around it?
I think each organization will find what works for them, and it is already happening. If you look at when we moved from desktop to laptops, when we had desktops, when you went home, you closed your desktop, you shut down, that was it. Then we moved to laptops, and we took our work everywhere we went with us. So in the real sense of it, are we working 9 to 5? No. Hardly anyone goes home these days, and that's the end of it. We are continuing to work. So we're learning as we go. The world is in a flux. We're learning and moving. So here we go.
Well, I wish you could be Gen Z in privileges and millennial
I'm Gen
in
Z.
responsibility.
I don't know what you are, but I'm Gen
because
Z.
I like this Gen Z conversation.
I'm not Gen Z.
Very quickly, before we wrap up, I know you talked about feedback, going the extra mile to know what exactly the problem is. But sometimes I want you to acknowledge that employers can be avoidant in responsibility. And, you know, they're refusing to acknowledge that, okay, there's a real possibility that this employee is delivering on what they promised to deliver. There's no mismatch between capability and result. So how do you, I'd like you to address the avoidant approach of
let me just help
employers.
Bukola. How do you deal with a wicked employer? I think that's what you're saying, using English to speak. Perhaps.
So use the time to develop resilience. What if that wicked employer was paying you $1 million, or he's preparing you for the employer who would pay you $1 million?
He's a nice employer.
So, yeah, down the line. So develop resilience, develop the ability to deliver results, develop your skills, and remember, at the end of the day, you are not a tree. You can move, and when you're moving, all those things you've developed move with you and then help you on your career trajectory. You are able to deliver fantastic results, and then your employer realizes this style of mine isn't going to work or isn't working long term. So two sides of the coin. Deal with what has to do with you, and then
I appreciate what you're doing.
That's a gospel way of looking at it.
But it looks like Bukola is quite particular. You've empowered the employee, which is great, with resilience, have that mindset, know that this is about you. But I think she wants you to talk to the employers this morning.
Yes.
Look them in the face and show them.
Employers, I'm looking you in the face. You also need to be aware that you can't deliver results without your employees. Your employees are critical to delivering results. If you have an environment that your employee cannot deliver your best, at the end of the day, it's impacting your productivity. You can't deliver your results.
Great employer.
Absolutely.
So, let's be very clear.
Glad to hear that. So
we're acting on behalf of the others.
Yeah, it's two sides of an equation. If an employer doesn't provide the right work environment, the employee cannot deliver or will deliver suboptimally. So it's also in the employer's interest to have a workplace that your employee can deliver. And you need to probably look yourself in the mirror as an employer and determine, take feedback, 360 feedback. We've got employee surveys, and not be defensive about the feedback that is coming through. And, you know, look for consultants, look for experts, look for people like me to help you develop your skills in managing difficult conversations. Because sometimes there are some difficult
So it's a two-way street, really, between employer and employee. I want to thank you so much for your time and profound insights on this segment. We've been talking with Folake Okunubi. She's a human resource consultant, talent management expert, and life coach. Thank you for coming through.
You're welcome.